28 years after the rage virus consumed the world, a fortified island clings to survival under ruthless rules and fear. Its people are taught that emotion is weakness and questioning is a crime. When a lone survivor returns from the forbidden mainland, he brings not just secrets, but a new kind of infection. It doesn't spread through blood anymore. It spreads through belief. As trust collapses and buried truths emerge, the community begins to fracture. Their commander is not who they think, and the virus has evolved into something far more terrifying, intelligent, emotional, and patient. With rebellion igniting and the last hope on the brink, one infected man must choose: destroy the system or become part of it. Rage never died. It just waited. When the world ended, there were survivors. Pockets of humanity clinging to life in the ruins. They called themselves the remnants. But surviving wasn't living. Their lives were hard, brutish, and short. Fear was their constant companion, the infected their worst nightmare. Almost 30 years ago, a virus known as rage tore through Britain, turning people into frenzied, aggressive beings driven by primal instincts. It brought down society, ravaged the countryside, and left the big cities abandoned and dangerous. In the aftermath, desperate survivors fled to the countryside, seeking refuge in the vast estates that dotted the landscape. There they built communities, hoping to rebuild some semblance of normalcy. However, these enclaves of civilization were short-lived. The virus, with its long incubation period and airborne transmission, proved impossible to contain. The countryside became a graveyard of human settlements, each marked by the violent struggle for survival that ultimately ended in tragedy. Survivors who made it out alive spoke in hushed tones of the horrors they had witnessed. Entire families torn apart by the virus, friends turned into ravenous predators, and a relentless struggle for dominance between rogue factions. As the virus spread like wildfire, burning away the old world, a new predator emerged, cunning, ruthless, and ever hungry. They called him the Stalker. He moved like a ghost through the abandoned cities, preying on the weak and vulnerable, stealing their meager possessions and leaving them to die. No one knew where he came from or why he had chosen this desolate landscape as his hunting ground. Some whispered that he was one of the first infected, a creature born of rage and solitude. Others claimed he was simply a man pushed too far, a survivor who had embraced the darkness within him to survive. Whatever the truth, the Stalker became a legend in the ruined cities, a symbol of the brutality that now defined human existence. For many survivors, the mere mention of his name was enough to send shivers down their spine. And so, the remnants scattered, searching for a safer haven. Some found it on the nameless island, cut off from the mainland by a narrow causeway. The island became their sanctuary, a bastion of civilization in a sea of chaos. However, the island held its own perils. The seas around it were infested with infected creatures, creating a watery graveyard around the island's shores. And as the years passed, the residents grew fearful of the outside world, unwilling to risk the dangers that lay beyond their makeshift barricades. Over time, the island became a microcosm of the old world, complete with its own hierarchy, rules, and fears. They rebuilt society on the island, but this time it was different, more brutal, more unforgiving. They elected a leader, a man named Briggs, a former soldier who had seen too much death and loss. He instilled discipline, order, and obedience, qualities he believed were essential to their survival. Under his rule, life on the island was regimented. Everyone assigned a task and expected to fulfill it without question. Any deviation from the norm, any hint of rebellion, was met with swift and brutal punishment. Over the years, the island became a place where fear was a way of life, where obedience was mistaken for loyalty, and where hope was nothing but a flickering candle in the wind, threatening to be snuffed out by the darkness that surrounded them. One day, a battered drone appeared in the sky, dropping a strange capsule. The capsule contained a map leading to London and a note suggesting the possibility of a safe haven. This discovery created a rift in the community. Some wanted to follow the lead, clinging to the hope of a better life. Others, like Briggs, saw it as a trick, a ruse to break their society from within. The divide intensified, mirroring the chaos that raged in the outside world. And as the island trembled on the brink of chaos, the fate of the nameless island hung in the balance, a microcosm of humanity teetering on the edge of oblivion. Today, we tell the story of the nameless island, the rage virus, the stalker, the infected, and the fight for survival. Now back to our story. Following the outbreak, the entire country descended into chaos. Major cities became battlegrounds as panic and violence erupted among the population. The military struggled to contain the situation, while governments collapsed and society crumbled. Millions were infected, turning into aggressive, violent beings driven by primal instincts. In the ensuing pandemonium, most people sought refuge in the countryside, hoping to escape the madness and rebuild some semblance of normalcy. However, this proved to be a fatal mistake. The virus had already infiltrated these areas, and the countryside soon descended into the same chaos and bloodshed as the cities. Survivors who ventured into the open fields discovered a horrifying new reality. Farmsteads that once symbolized peace and plenty were now scenes of unspeakable horrors. Barbed wire fences were twisted and broken, corpses lay strewn across barns and outbuildings, and the cries of the infected echoed through the empty landscapes. It was a grim reminder that nowhere was truly safe. In the face of this bleak reality, survivors retreated further, seeking shelter in the grand estates that dotted the countryside. Mansions and manors offered the promise of security and seclusion, and many believed they could rebuild their lives within their protective walls. Unfortunately, this hope proved to be short-lived. The virus was insidious, spreading silently and rapidly. Within these seemingly secure havens, paranoia and suspicion flourished. Friendships were tested, alliances were forged and broken, and the fear of betrayal loomed over every interaction. Eventually, the virus claimed its victims in these country retreats, turning houses of privilege into tombs of despair. Aran, a young man from the nameless island, yearned for adventure. He dreamed of exploring the outside world, which he had only seen in old videos and pictures. Books and maps became his escape, allowing him to vicariously experience the world he so desperately wanted to see. As he grew older, his fascination with the outside world only intensified, leading him to question the wisdom of their self-imposed exile. Every day he stood at the edge of the island, gazing at the mainland, wondering what lay beyond their fortified barriers. Meanwhile, the enigmatic figure known as the Stalker lurked in the shadows of the ruined cities, watching humanity teeter on the edge of extinction. He was a master of disguise, a phantom who vanished into the ruins whenever danger approached. His true face and origins were a mystery known only to him. His presence was a chilling reminder of the darkness that still lingered in the post-rage world. The drone drop and the cryptic message shook the island community, reawakening long-dormant desires for a life beyond their confinement. The discovery served as a catalyst, opening old wounds and exposing the deep fissures that had formed within their society. Many saw the message as a beacon of hope, a sign that there was still good left in the world and that perhaps they had misjudged the dangers of the outside world. They longed to break free from the confines of the island, to explore the vastness of the ruined cities and discover if there were others like them, still clinging to the remnants of humanity. Aran found solace in the shared dreams of his community, recognizing in their gazes a reflection of his own longing for something more. The desire for exploration and discovery united them, forming a bond that transcended their fears and doubts. Together, they began to plan their escape, poring over maps, gathering supplies, and devising strategies for survival. They moved in secret, driven by the collective hope that they could carve out a better future for themselves beyond the confines of their island prison. But their plans remained just that, dreams whispered in the shadows, for the heavy hand of fear kept them confined. They couldn't risk alerting Briggs, whose paranoia would surely turn their hopes into ashes. The island remained a microcosm of the chaos that had engulfed the rest of the world. Fear, hope, and the relentless pursuit of survival continued to shape their lives. And so the story of the nameless island evolved into a tale of resilience, of the indomitable spirit of humanity in the face of unimaginable adversity. It became a story of courage, of ordinary people who dared to dream of a better tomorrow in a world consumed by darkness. It's a testament to the power of the human spirit to endure and adapt in the face of extinction. It's a story that resonates with the darkest corners of our collective fears, reminding us of the fragility of civilization and the tenacity of life in the most dire circumstances. As Aran makes his way back to the island, the extent of the virus's influence on human evolution becomes terrifyingly clear. Along the way, he encounters groups affected by the virus in different ways. Some are too far gone, little more than animals driven by primal rage, while others have gained frightening abilities and intelligence. The most disturbing, however, are those who seem unchanged, who appear normal but who hide a sinister agenda. One such individual is Eli, who Aran thought he'd killed on the island. Now part of Dr. Keen's inner circle, Eli has risen quickly in Sanctum's ranks, impressing the scientists with his knowledge of the island and its inhabitants. When he spots Aran, a flicker of recognition crosses his face, but it's quickly replaced by obedience as he follows his orders without question. We learn that he was one of the island's architects, chosen for his cunning and ruthlessness. And now, he's using that same cunning and ruthlessness against his former friends and allies. Through Eli, we learn about the fate of the others. Maria, consumed by grief over the loss of her son, retreated into herself and joined the silent ghosts, believing silence will bring peace. Lewis, unable to cope with the destruction he witnessed, became a Red Choir member, embracing the virus as a form of liberation. As for Zara, she was taken by the Walled Ones, becoming another subject in their twisted games. The realization that those he cared about have been lost to the virus weighs heavily on Aran, driving him both forward and inward. Along his journey, he encounters pockets of survivors. A family living in a repurposed subway tunnel, cut off from the world and subsisting on meager rations. An artist hiding in an abandoned gallery, clinging to beauty amidst the ruins. A community trying to rebuild in the shadow of a rusted Ferris wheel. Each encounter offers a glimpse of hope, but also serves to remind Aran of the heavy burden he carries, the need to document the virus's effects, to bear witness to the destruction it wrought. It's a grueling trek, made more difficult by the changing seasons. Winter arrives, bringing with it biting winds, frozen landscapes, and dwindling supplies. Yet Aran presses on, driven by a mixture of determination and desperation. Throughout his journey, he's haunted by the faces of those he's lost, their voices echoing in the silence, urging him to keep going. In his darkest moments, he finds solace in nature. He shelters in caves adorned with ancient cave paintings, reminding him of humanity's enduring spirit. He watches migratory birds fly overhead, symbols of hope and endurance. He listens to the wind rustling through the trees, a constant in a world of chaos. Even when the cold seeps into his bones and hunger pangs twist his stomach, he finds comfort in the rhythms of the natural world. Finally, after months of travel, the familiar sight of the coast comes into view. Relief washes over him, but it's tinged with sadness. The virus has fundamentally altered the world, its tendrils reaching far and wide. The island may offer sanctuary, but it's a sanctuary built on loss and change. Back on the island, much has changed. The quarantine zone is now a bustling community. The infected, once confined within its boundaries, now roam freely. The survivors have adapted, learning to coexist with the infected, forming a fragile balance. The island has become a microcosm of the outside world, a reflection of the changes that have occurred everywhere. Aran is greeted by Zara, who has emerged as a leader on the island. She's older, wiser, but still carries the weight of their shared past. Her presence brings a rush of memories, of laughter, of love, of loss. The reunion is bittersweet, filled with joy, but also tinged with the knowledge that nothing can truly be as it was before. We witness the island's new reality. Children born after the outbreak playing with infected siblings, learning to control their abilities. Doctors treating both infected and uninfected, searching for a cure. Farmers tending to mutated crops, ensuring the community's survival. Artists expressing the chaos and beauty of their world through their work. Scientists studying the virus, seeking understanding. All of them struggle to maintain a sense of normalcy in an abnormal world. All of them carry the scars of their experiences, the memories of what was lost, the fears of what might be. Amidst the chaos and change, Aran finds a measure of peace. He shares his stories, hoping to preserve the memories of those lost, to honor the survivors. He listens to the island's new rhythms, its new songs, its new dreams. He watches the sunrise over the sea, carrying with it the promise of a new day. He feels the earth beneath his feet, solid and constant, anchoring him to the present. He breathes in the air around him, alive with the sounds of life, the whispers of hope. The ending emphasizes that life goes on. The virus may have forever changed the world, but life persists, hope persists, humanity persists, though perhaps not as it once was. Aran's journey is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, its ability to endure, to adapt, to hope. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of resilience shines through. But as Aran looks out over the horizon, he knows that the story isn't over. The world is forever changed, and he is changed with it. The virus may have found a home on this island, but its echoes reverberate across the globe. And somewhere out there, in the ruins of civilization, more stories are waiting to be told. Aran's return through the causeway isn't greeted with silence. It's met with alarms. Surveillance drones hidden within the cliffs pick up his heat signature before he even touches the gate. The island is no longer a sanctuary. It has become a state of surveillance, a controlled ecosystem. And the one who controls it? Commander Silas Briggs, a former military strategist who took power after the original leadership mysteriously disappeared. Briggs isn't just paranoid, he's methodical. Over the years, he created the Accord, a strict system of rules etched into metal slabs across the island, treated like holy commandments. No contact with the mainland, no return from beyond the perimeter, no records of the before, no grief, no rage, no emotion, only order. These guidelines aren't just rules, they're conditioning tools. Emotional suppression is drilled into children from birth. Every act of sentiment, crying, mourning, even laughter past curfew, is punishable by public shaming or temporary exile to the grey zone, a section of the island used for isolation and rumored experimentation. As Aran is taken into custody, the community watches, not with fear but curiosity. Whispers swirl. He came back. He's alive. Then what else is out there? Some begin questioning everything, especially Eli, once a respected psychologist, now branded a mind corrupter for refusing to accept the Accord. In secret, she shelters Aran and reveals a shocking truth. The Accord wasn't made to protect them from infection. It was made to contain the evolution of the virus because it never left. Aran isn't the first to return. 2 others had before. Both were taken, both vanished. One was Eli's own brother. She believes Aran may now carry the final stage of the Rage Echo, a strain that doesn't destroy, it persuades. It seeps into emotion, memory, and trust. It turns love into obsession, logic into madness, rage into leadership. 6 months ago, while searching Sanctum, Aran found evidence of an earlier outbreak. Survivors bitten by the same virus, yet somehow immune. And now he seems to be developing symptoms too. He feels feverish, lightheaded. His senses heighten, but instead of madness, he sees visions of strangers, glimpses of lives lived and lost, memories not his own. Fearful, Eli warns Aran the virus could consume his mind, but he rejects her help, obsessed with finding others like him, others who may hold the key to a cure. But how will the islanders react when they learn the truth about their leader and the Accord? Can anything stop Commander Briggs from taking control of the island again? And what surprises does the island still hold? Don't miss the next episode of our gripping post-apocalyptic saga. Stay tuned for more updates. And if you'd like to support us in creating more thrilling stories like this one, please consider supporting us. Now, let's continue. That night, Aran sneaks out to the Grey Zone, hoping to find one of the immune. He finds only abandoned labs and chilling clues to the island's past. Then he encounters Lena, a young woman exiled for minor infractions, someone he vaguely recognizes from childhood. She helps him realize he's not alone, that many returned, most were taken. But how? Why? Who? Days pass. Aran learns about Briggs' past, his efforts to restore order, and his obsessive rule since. But as Aran connects the dots, he uncovers a deeper motive. Briggs built the Accord not for safety, but control, to eliminate the very emotions the virus exploited. The true horror dawns on Aran. The virus evolved with him, adapting to human behavior, turning against its creator. But amidst the chaos, hope flickers. An old radio transmission hints at a mainland free of the virus. Maybe Aran isn't crazy. Maybe a cure exists. But as he prepares to leave, Lena stops him. She remembers the immune. They went willingly, hoping for a cure, led by Briggs, who pretended to seek help, but really wanted to exploit the mainland. Together, Aran and Lena rally the islanders. They expose Briggs' lies, the virus's evolution, and the mainland's potential for a cure. The community, manipulated for decades, finally wakes up. They question everything. Whispers turn to shouts, hope to defiance. The Accord, once revered, is torn apart. Emotions run wild, grief, anger, despair, but also love, hope, unity. However, Briggs anticipates their actions. He prepared for betrayal. Security forces appear, arresting dissenters, including Lena. Accusing Aran of madness and murder, Briggs shuts down the island, sealing its fate. There's nowhere left to go. The virus spreads, turning some into frenzied victims, others into emotionless shells. Is this the end of the island, of humanity? Or is there still a chance for cure, for connection, for understanding the virus and themselves? Amidst the turmoil, Aran goes rogue, breaking into the server room. He downloads years of hidden data, uncovering the island's darkest secrets, hidden experiments, unauthorized off-island trips, and a name: Sanctum. It was never a separate haven. It was part of the island all along, a parallel society living below ground, observing, experimenting, evolving alongside them. But why? What do they want? Aran escapes as security closes in. He finds Lena, imprisoned and infected. But instead of saving her, he injects her with a serum from the medical bay. It's a gamble, the last of 5 experimental cures. Will it work? More importantly, why did he choose this cure? Because it's the only one without side effects. He wants to keep her emotions, her humanity. Their eyes meet. It won't be easy, but together they might stand a chance. Their moments shattered by an alarm. The virus is spreading rapidly. If they don't act fast, everyone they know will be lost. They race to warn the community, but it's too late. Many have already succumbed, turned into emotionless husks. But surprisingly, many remain unchanged, immune to the virus's effects. Leading them is Eli, who reveals a shocking truth. She always knew about the virus's evolution. Her brother's return triggered it. She believed in preserving humanity's emotions, not eradicating them, but her plan depended on the mainland. If they could send a message, maybe they could get help, but the island's systems are locked down. Communication is cut off. All hope seems lost. Then Aran remembers Sanctum. If the virus evolved here, then maybe they can use it against itself. But how? He gathers the remaining islanders, immune and infected alike. He tells them about Sanctum, about the virus's origin, and proposes a risky plan. They'll infiltrate Sanctum, trigger an outbreak, and force the facility to reveal itself. It's a bold move, but their only hope. As the virus claims more victims, the community rallies. Together they charge into the forest, determined to uncover the truth about their past and their future. But will it lead to salvation or damnation? What secrets lie beneath the island, and what will happen when humanity faces its greatest challenge yet? In the depths of the island, within a hidden facility, a single figure remains, watching it all unfold. Dr. Elias Kane, the mastermind behind the virus and its containment, emerges from the shadows, revealing a shocking truth. The virus was never meant to harm humanity. It was meant to evolve with it. Years ago, Kane developed the virus to combat the rampant spread of misinformation, turning people into emotionless shells, eliminating their capacity for deceit. But he underestimated its evolution. It targeted the most vulnerable, the elderly and the innocent. So he created the Accord to control its spread, enlisting Briggs and others to enforce his chilling vision of a perfect society. But as chaos erupts on the surface, Kane fears his creation has spun out of control. Must he unleash the final strain of the virus? The one that will force humanity to evolve or perish? The one that could bring about true change? And will he succeed in his twisted quest to control humanity's evolution, or will he face the consequences of his actions? Stay tuned for more updates.